An equation is made up of symbols, numbers, operations, and the equal to sign. So these are the four things that an equation is made up of. Now symbols are usually x and y. So x is the most common one. Numbers are a, b, c, d, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Operations are plus, minus, multiplication, division, and the equal to sign looks like this. So in other words, an equation is nothing but expression equals to 0. In a very loose term, it is an expression equals to 0. So that's what an equation is. So we can call an equation as an expression equals to 0. In other words, symbols, numbers, operations, and equal to sign. Now when we talk about an equation, just like expression, we can refer to them as examples of, this is a linear polynomial expression. If you give equal to 0, it becomes a linear equation. When you have a quadratic polynomial expression, if you give equal to 0, it becomes a quadratic equation. When you have a cubic polynomial expression, it becomes a cubic equation. You have a cubic equation. So this is our polynomial equation. This is the most common equations that will be given in the exam. That's what will be given. Now when we talk about an equation, now that we have defined an equation, the question is, what do we do to an equation? If you remember, we can simplify or factorize an expression. Now what can we do to an equation? We can solve an equation. So when the question comes, what do you do to an equation? You can solve an equation. Okay, so what is the meaning of solve an equation? To solve an equation is to find the unknown value. Now the unknown value is the symbol. So the unknown value is the symbol. So here the unknown value is x. So to find the unknown value is to solve the equation. Now this unknown value is referred to it as the root of the equation. You have to remember, there is one thing called square root that looks like this. Square root, this symbol, we are not referring to this thing, it's called the square root. We are talking about the unknown value of x. It's called a root. It is also sometimes called the solution of the equation. The solution of an equation, like if there is a crime, you solve the crime, you find the who caused the trouble or who's the murderer. It's like that, we call it solution. So the root or the solution of the equation is the unknown value. Usually that unknown value is x. Now the question is, how do you solve it? So let me give you an equation solving a linear, let me call it a linear equation instead of calling it a linear polynomial equation. Okay, so when you have a linear equation like 2x minus 4 equals to 0, all you do, send all the numbers on the right hand side. So 2x equals to this minus 4, if you go to the other side, will become plus 4, and then so the minus on the other side of the equation becomes reversed and it becomes positive, and twice x means 2 multiplied by x. When you send this to the other side, it will be divided. It will be 4 divided by 2, so it will be 2 to the 4, so it will be 2, so therefore x would be 2. So you have found the root of the equation. Now let me define the root of the equation a bit more clearly. If the question is, what is the root of an equation, remember, the root of the equation makes the equation true. Remember, the root makes the equation true. Now what does that mean? Let's put the value of x equals to 2 back into the equation. So if I put, let me just show you, x equals to 2 back in the equation, so I will put it here 2, here x I'm putting 2, minus 4 equals to 0. So 2 to the 4 minus 4 equals to 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. 0 equals to 0. Now this is true. 0 is indeed equals to 0. So this thing is true. If I had put in something else, for example, if I had put in 1 here, it would be 2 ones are 2. Minus 4 is minus 2. Now minus 2 is not equal to 0. So that is not true. So another way of defining what is the root of an equation, it is that value of x, or the variable, which makes the equation true. So when you solve a linear equation, so this is what you get. You send everything to the right hand side and you solve it. So let me show you another linear equation. Linear equation, it can be 5x plus 10 equals to 0. So these are very basic linear equations. Let me make it 15x to make it more interesting. So I can write 15x on the left hand side and everything else on the right hand side, so minus x. So I can write, therefore x is equals to minus 10 divided by 15. So I can cancel this off. It is 5 3s are 15, 5 2s are 10. So the answer is going to be x equals to minus 2 by 3. So that's how you solve it. Now for solving linear equations, we can also be using fractions. This is also a linear equation. Let me use it as example 3. If you have something like 2x minus 1 plus 5 by 3 equals to 1 by 2. So now this is an equation. Now the first thing we do is we take LCM. X minus 1 into 3, we multiply this, x minus 1 into 3, this will be equals to half as before. So we multiply x minus 1 into 3 to get this thing. So it will be 3 multiplied this. That's what we do. Multiply this with what? You get this. With 3 we get this. So multiply upstairs with that thing, 3 into that, plus 3 into this is this. So this is 3 into x minus 1 is this, because there is already 3 here. So we do x minus 1 into 5. Let me write 5 here before, it makes more sense. So what we do is we can write 3 to the 6, 5 into x is 5x minus 5 divided by 3 into x minus 3 equals to 1 by 2. So this is going to be 6 minus 5 is 1, so 5x minus 1 divided by 3x minus 3 equals to 1 by 2. Now there is a thing in equation solving of this sort, when you have upstairs downstairs equals to upstairs downstairs, it has to be like this. It has to be like this. This by this equals to this by this. When you have this, you can cross multiply. Remember, you cannot cross multiply all the time. You cannot cross multiply. Now say if there was plus e here, you cannot do that. You can only cross multiply when you have upstairs downstairs equals to upstairs downstairs. So when you have something like this, you can write a into d. So a into d, and you do b into c. Remember, you can only cross multiply. It has upstairs by downstairs equal to upstairs by downstairs. If there is anything added or subtracted here, you cannot cross multiply. This is very, very important. And you usually, when you're doing this fraction algebra, linear equation, you have to cross multiply. So we are still in the process of forming a linear equation like the one that we did previously, a simple linear equation. Let's cross multiply. So this is a into d means 2 into 5x minus 1 equals to 3x minus 3 into 1 is going to be 1 into 3x minus 3. So this will be 5 to the 10x minus 2, and this would be 3x minus 3. So let's bring all the x on one side. So 10x minus 3x and all the numbers on the other side, so minus 3x plus 2, so this would be 7x, and this would be minus 1. 2 minus 3 is minus 1. So we are now in this single format. We can find x equals to minus 1 by 7.